In this tutorial series, we will replicate the game World War Z in Unity. This will be a really in-depth tutorial series in which we will cover everything like the player movement system, the UI, the multiple weapons. Different weapons will have different damages. We should be able to switch between the weapons and the enemy AI, the UI, the health, the enemy health, their health, and the animations and all that good stuff. So we will cover everything and we're gonna make it everything from scratch. This is the fourth part of the tutorial series in which we will learn how to make the shooting system like we see in World War Z. In the end of the video, we will be able to make this. So without wasting any time, let's get started. So as I just mentioned, this is the fourth part of the tutorial series. In the first part, we learned how to make the movement system kind of like this one. So we should be able to run around, move around, and also the camera system. Then we learned how to make the vaulting system kind of like this. So we can vault over objects, any object like this. And then also we learned how to make the aiming system kind of like this one. So the camera zooms in and he looks up and down in any direction. Now this is the fourth part, and in this video we will learn how to make the shooting system. So for the shooting system, the main concept is that we should have a crosshair right in the center of the screen so that we know where the guy is gonna shoot, and then we're gonna shoot a laser right in the center of the screen, from the center of the screen to infinity, I guess, or the laser will be really long and it will detect which object it is gonna hit. If it hits anything, we are gonna check which object it is gonna hit, and then if we hit the enemy will die or he will get the damage and all that. And if we hit something else, well, basically there should nothing happen. Of course, we will in the future videos we will add some particle effects that when we hit somewhere over here, some smoke rises and all that, like a bullet impact system, but in this video we will cover the basics. So in order to do that, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and add the crosshair first. So in order to add the crosshair, I already have an icon over here, or the symbol of the crosshair. You can simply go to Google and you can search crosshair PNG, and you can go to the images. Of course the spelling was wrong, and you can find a whole lot of images right over here. I think you can use this one. If I come over here, if it is PNG, no, it's not PNG. So I'm gonna come over here and real quick, just simply download this one of the PNG. You can also make it by yourself on Photoshop, but I don't have time to do that, so I'm gonna simply go ahead and download it. Download transparent PNG, and there we go. And I'm gonna go ahead and drag it inside of Unity, and bam, we have a new crosshair over here. Now as you can see, the background is black, but we don't want black. We should have no background, so go to the texture type and set it to sprite 2D and UI and hit apply. Now there we go, we have no background. Now the max size is set to 8000 and it is really big. We don't want that big, so we can just simply decrease it to 256, and there we go. Good. Now in order to make the crosshair, you have to just say right click. I'm gonna go ahead and first set this to resolution to 1920 by 1080, like that, and you can simply go ahead and set this to 16 by 9. Basically it's the same. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and say right click, create UI and an image, because we want an image. So image, and then we're gonna go ahead and drag and drop the crosshair image in there, just like that. And now we have a crosshair right there, but it's not in the center of the screen. So in order to make the in the center of the screen, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and come back and reset the transform, and there we go. Now it's right in the center of the canvas, which means it is right in the center of the screen. Now as you can see, when we are zoomed out, the crosshair is a little small. If we zoom in, the crosshair becomes big. Now how to fix that? In order to fix that, you go to the canvas and you say UI scale mode, and you have to say scale with screen size, and you enter the screen size. In my case it's 1920 by 1080, and you have to just do that, and there we go. Now the crosshair remains the same size. Now we can simply take the crosshair and make it smaller, kind of. No, we have to select the image, make it smaller, kind of like that. Make it a little more smaller. Bam. Now we have a crosshair right in the center of the screen. Bam. Now we basically don't have to do anything with that. We just want it to be there so that we can see where the center of the screen is, right? I'm gonna simply rename the image to crosshair just to get things organized. There we go. Now with that said, let's go to the player, and this is the FSM. Movement FSM, which looks something like this. Now if you don't know what FSM is, it means basically you haven't seen any of my video, at least the 3 parts of the tutorial video that I just uploaded. So if you have missed those videos out, make sure you see them. The link will be in the description box below, or you can click the card on the top right corner over here and see the whole playlist. otherwise you won't be able to understand what is happening over here. This basically is Playmaker. Playmaker is a really cool asset that helps you make games without writing a single line of code. So we made all of this that you just saw without writing a single line of code. So if you don't have Playmaker, you can simply buy it from Asset Store, or if you don't want to buy it, you can simply go ahead and click the first link in the description box below and download it for free. And once you download it, you just have to drag it inside of Unity and you will be good to go. You have to just simply import it, install it, and you will be good to go. If you are still confused, make sure you see the first 3 parts of the tutorial series. So anyways, now I'm gonna go ahead and rename this FSM to movement, because this is basically for the movement. So this is idle, walk, run, aiming, and these 3 basically are the vaulting. Alright, so now we need to do some shooting. So I think what we should do is we should add another FSM. So this will be a separate FSM. This will be handling the firing. So just say fire and go to edit. Now this is the brand new FSM. So whenever we play the game, we're gonna come in this state. In this state, what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and say get button down or get mouse button down. Basically it means whenever we press a mouse button. So basically the firing mouse button is left, so that is good. We're gonna go ahead and go new event and we're gonna say fire. So whenever we press the left mouse click, we're gonna go to the firing state. So add transition fire, control click to make a new state, and bam, there we go. Now whenever we press the button, the right click, we're gonna come in this state. In this state, what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and say Raycast. Raycast basically is a laser. We're gonna shoot out a laser. Now in order to do that, what we're gonna do is basically the screen is the camera, right? So if we select the camera, and here we have the camera, we're gonna go ahead and make a empty game object in the camera. Right click and make an empty game object, and this will be the Raycast fire. Alright, this will be the Raycast, not for fire. There we go. And we're gonna go ahead and press F. Now this is the empty game object. What we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and say and do that and move the Raycast fire in front of the player, so that whenever the laser shoots, we don't want the laser to shoot at the player, right? Because the player will be right in this in the path of the laser. So we're gonna bring it out in front of the player so that it does not, of course, hits the player. It's gonna hit out from there. Okay, we're gonna select the player back, go to the fire, and we're gonna go ahead and say the Raycast should be casted from a specific game object. When you're gonna drag and drop the Raycast fire in there. Now we want the direction to be, let's see, in the Z, as you can see, Z. So we're gonna go ahead and one in the Z, which means in this direction, and the distance will be, I don't know, 1000. Oops, 1000. Bam. And 1000 distance is really long, so you don't have to worry about that. If you want, you can add an extra 0 over here, but you don't basically have to do it. Now what it is basically is happening is, if I say debug and set the color to red or something so that we can see what is happening, and if I play the game right now, so if I come over here and press the left mouse button, you can see we're going in the state 2, and as you can see there is a laser shooting out. If I go to the side view, and there you can see the laser is shooting out. Bam. And the laser is really big. As you can see, it's really big, so you don't have to worry about the length at all. And there we go. So the laser is basically shooting. Now we want to test whether or not this laser is shooting where we are pointing the crosshair. So in order to do that, I'm gonna go ahead and pause the game, get in the game view, and I'm gonna point the laser somewhere like over here in this spot right here where there's a cross, just over here. Bam. I'm gonna pause the game, get out, and select the player, press F, do that, and as you can see we are hitting this portion right here where it is hitting over here. Bam and bam. There we go. So it is pretty accurate, right? So the laser is shooting and it is pretty accurate according to the crosshair. So now what we want to do is we want to see whether or not we are hitting the enemy or not, right? So in order to do that, I'm gonna go ahead and real quick add an enemy. I'm gonna just bring it down just over here, and my mouse is not properly working. And I'm gonna go ahead and add a capsule just like that, and reset the transform so that it's in the center of the screen, and this will represent the enemy for now. And of course in the Just a second. I'm gonna call this enemy. Of course, in the future videos I'm gonna go ahead and add a actual enemy that will be a zombie. You don't have to worry about that. Now we're gonna go to the tag and say add tag. You have to just click the plus sign over here and you can add the name of the tag you want. I already have done that. It is the enemy, and I'm gonna come back to the enemy and set the tag to enemy, which basically means the enemy has the tag enemy to represent it as the enemy. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna come in here and we're gonna say compare tag, game object compare tag, this one, and we're gonna come back and we're gonna compare the tag of the object that we just hit, the hit object, just like that, and we're gonna compare the tag with the enemy. If it is true, which means if it is the enemy, we're gonna kill it. So we're gonna go ahead and new event kill, and there we go. We're gonna add a transition, oops, not fire, kill, add a new state and kill. If it is false, it means if it is not the enemy, then it means we basically don't have to do anything, right? And we're gonna do that every frame, which means every second. So whenever we hit the laser, we're gonna every second check whether or not we are hitting the enemy or not. All right, now we're gonna go ahead and say get mouse button up, which means whenever we release the button. So this is, oh shit, it should be get mouse button down. Shit. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, come in here, get mouse button up, which means when we release the button. Get mouse button down means when we click the button, and when we release the button we're gonna come back. So we're gonna say finished, and finished, bam. So yeah, sorry for my mistake, but get mouse button down, when we click the button we're gonna come in here, and when we release the button we're gonna come back over here. And when we kill someone, which will be the enemy, we're gonna go ahead and say activate game object, which means for now we're gonna just simply disable it. So specify the game object, the hit object, which basically is the enemy, we're gonna just deactivate that. So which will tell us that we basically have killed the enemy. And then we're gonna say next frame event, which basically means after executing this action we're gonna go to the normal state, which is this one. Finished, bam. Now I'm gonna go ahead and test this out. I'm gonna, come on, son of a bitch, and do that, and I'm gonna save the scene and play the game to see whether or not it's working or not. So I'm gonna select the player now. There we go. So now we are in the idle state, and if I shoot something else, we come in here and we come back over here. As you can see, if I click, it comes back. If I hold the click, we're coming in here and it is shooting, as you can see, this shooting the laser on the game view. If I come over here and hit the enemy, bam, the enemy is no longer, and as you can see it is just deactivated. So we can just enable that again and kill that son of a bitch again, like bam, there we go. So the next thing what I would like to do is I will like to do some animations. I will add some animations. So if I go to the animations folder over here, we have some animations. Now if you don't know where to get animations, you can simply go to mixmo.com, and here you can search for rifle firing and all that. So you can find a whole lot of animations over here. You can also upload a character and automatically rig it in here just in a second. And yeah, so in here you will have to find a rifle firing animation, kind of like this one. So he's firing the animation kind of like that, and you have to just simply download this and just simply drag it inside of Unity. Once you have done that, let me just quickly show you guys how to do it. So if I download, and it's gonna prepare the download, and bam, there it is downloading. And my net speed is really slow right now. And once it is downloaded, as you can see, we have to just simply drag it inside of Unity. There we go. And where is it? This one? Yeah. So as you can see, we have to go to the rig and set this to humanoid as always we do, and we have to come back to the animations. And as you can see, this is a loop animation, so we have to say loop and click these two again and say apply. Now if you play the game, you will see he is moving with the cursor, but as you can see, he is moving in that direction in which we don't want. So we're gonna come back and set its rotation properly. So there we go, until he is moving in the forward direction. I guess we will have to set it to 30, 35, somewhat like that. So now he is moving forward just like that. So this is basically what you have to do. Now the thing is that we should be able to do the firing animation while we are standing, just like that, and we should do the firing animation kind of like this, and we should also do the same animation while we are walking, right? So how to do that? Well, there is two different things you can do. You can basically use two animations. One will be the firing idle, one will be the firing walking and all that, but that will be difficult, right? So you have to basically manage all these animations. The simplest version is just simply download one of the animation in which he is just firing. So here we have the animation of the firing. As you can see, he is just vibrating, kind of like vibrating, and this is only what we need, right? So I have set it as loop, big pose and all that, and you have to basically apply. Now what I'm gonna do is, in this case we are gonna use layers over here. So this is the animator controller that we made in the previous video. We have the idle, walk, run, vault, aim, idle, and aim, walk. Simple as that. Now in order to do the firing, what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and add a new layer, and this one will be the firing animation. Just hit fire, and I'm gonna simply drag in the firing animation just like that. We don't need that one. Okay, firing continues just like that. So he's just simply doing that. Now what we want to do is we don't want to use the lower part of this guy. So he can be walking, he can be running, but we only need the upper part, and in the upper part he is just vibrating like that. We only need that. So in order to do that, we're gonna use avatar masks. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna go ahead and say right click, create an avatar mask, and I'm gonna call this one upper body or lower body, or you can just simply call it Asad, anything you want, and you can just click the gear right here and you can simply assign the avatar mask in there, or you can simply go ahead and do that just like that. And I'm gonna go ahead and open up the avatar mask. In the humanoid, you can see we have a humanoid guy in this pose. Now what we want to do is we don't want to use the legs, so we're gonna just click them and disable them. Red of course means disabled. We only want to use the upper part, alright, upper part of the animation. So here we have it. So we have a mask over here, and yeah, good. Now the weight is 0 right now. So if I play the game right now, and basically nothing should happen. Okay, so we are playing the game and nothing is happening. If I set the player, he is doing that animation, but we cannot see that animation right over here. In order to see that animation, I'm gonna go ahead and select the weight and set this to 1. And when I set this to 1, as you can see, he starts doing that animation. He is only doing that firing animation in the top part because we have the mask that has the humanoid that has the upper part. Simple as that. So now if I move anywhere, if I do anything, he is gonna do that that vibrating firing animation. If we run, if we vault, if we do anything, he is gonna keep on doing that animation, the firing animation. Simple as that, right? So if I set the weight back to 0, he's gonna do the normal animation. Okay, so basically what we are gonna do is we're gonna control the weight just like that. Bam. Now what we want to do is we want to go ahead and add an idle animation right over here somewhere. Okay, we're gonna add an idle animation right over here. So let's find the idle animation right here. That should idle animation means aiming idle animation. So if I go back to the base layer, the aiming idle animation, I'm gonna use the same animation, this one, and I'm gonna drag that over here just like that. So this is the standing idle animation. I'm gonna set this to default layer, and basically what we want to do is we want to make transition from idle to fire and fire to idle, and we're gonna change between these two states whenever we fire, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and add a boolean. This will be fire, called fire, and whenever fire is true, we're gonna come in here, and has exit time is false, as I have explained in the previous videos. And if the fire is false, we're gonna come back over here, has exit time is false. So basically he is doing the idle animation and he is doing the firing animation. Okay, now if you play the game, and if I go to the layers, and if I select the player, now he is doing basically the normal animations. He is still doing this animation, but we can see that animation. If I go ahead and set the weight to 1, he is gonna do the idle aiming animation, which he does in this over here. And when we press click, we should set this to true, where the firing to true. And when we set this to true, he's gonna do the firing, kind of like that. and when we release the button he should set this to false, and he's gonna come back to the normal idle. Good. Now this basically is what we want. We want to control the firing to true and false whenever we fire, and also we want to set this weight to true and false, 1 or 0 whenever we try to fire or not, right? And we're gonna go to the movement FSM this time, and we're gonna go to the aiming for now, and we're gonna go ahead and say set animator layer weight. Set animator layer weight, and the layer has the index 0. This is the 1, so we're gonna say set index layer 1 and weight to 1, which basically means we are gonna do it from just like that, right? And we're gonna go ahead and copy this, paste it in here, paste it in here, and we're gonna set the layer weight to 0. While we are walking and running, we don't want that, and while we are aiming, we're gonna set this to 1. So now basically what is happening is nothing. But if you play the game right now, you should see something, at least, I guess. I don't know. If we play the game, if I select the player, as you can see, when we go to the aiming, if I come over here, the weight is set to 1. But if I come out just like that, we have set the weight to 0. Good. Now we want to set this parameter of fire to true and false whenever we are firing or not. So we're gonna say set animator bool, this one, and we're gonna go ahead and say the fire, and we're gonna set this to true, false, sorry. When we're not firing, we're gonna set this to false. We're gonna copy that, paste that in here, and we're gonna say set it to true while we are firing, and we come back in here, we set this to false, and when we're not firing, so and we're gonna play the game and see if he is doing the firing animation or not. Let's see. So we come in here, bam, and he starts firing, and when we release the button, he comes back not to firing. Good. Now in order to really sell the effect, what I just did is I went in and ahead and downloaded a Muzzle Flash asset. If you don't know how to download paid assets for free, click the card over here on the top right and see the video how to download paid assets for free. This is a paid asset in which we have a loads and loads of Muzzle Flash things over here. I'm gonna use the Muzzle Flash effect 4, which you can see if I think you cannot. Okay, so basically this looks something like that, and it's really cool. All right, you can not see it right here if I play the game and try to show you guys real quick. There we go. There it is, how it looks like while we are playing the game, and we're gonna go ahead and place it right in the center of the muzzle. I'm gonna select that, delete that, and I already have done that. So I just selected the rifle aim, and I just placed the muzzle flash in front of the muzzle, just like that. All right, there we go. And then I went in, I had to go to the player and go to the fire, and I just said activate game object, which is this one, and we're gonna specify the game object to be the muzzle flash, and we're gonna deactivate that when we are not firing, and when we are firing, we're gonna simply activate that, and which means we're gonna just fire. Simple as that, right? Cool, simple as that. Now if I go ahead and play the game, you will see a really nice muzzle flash happening whenever we fire. And that really is gonna sell the effect that we are actually firing. Subtle effect, but really nice. Once you're happy with the muzzle flashes, I'm gonna come out and real quick set up an enemy so that we can see how we can set the enemy. And of course in the future videos we can set up the proper enemy. So I just went in ahead and downloaded a zombie 3D model, which looks kind of like this. This is from Resident Evil 2 remake. And if you don't know how to download 3D models from some game, make sure you see the video. The card will be on the top right, just over here. You can see the video over here, and I just downloaded it from here, and I'm gonna real quick set it up. It's really big. I'm gonna make it small, kind of like that, and I'm gonna real quick set it up so you don't have to worry about that. And there we have the zombie. I'm gonna go ahead and remove that so that we don't have. Okay, I'm gonna make a new animated controller for that. What I just did is I went in ahead and added the materials. I added a capsule collider to it, and I added the tag of enemy to the zombie. I'm gonna just rename this to zombie. Come on, you son of a bitch. I really hate it when this happens. Okay, zombie. There we go. Now I'm gonna go ahead and real quick add a animator controller. I'm gonna call this one Brum, and I'm gonna select the zombie and drag and drop the Brum in there, and I'm gonna select that, and in here we can add a simple animation. I'm gonna go to the animations and find a zombie animation. You can simply go to the mix mode again and download some animations for the zombie. I already have done that. So this is, I guess, the zombie death, in which he brutally dies like that, or in this one he flies back like that, and that is really cool. I'm gonna set this to real quick. Oops, set this to 0 and do that. There we go. Okay, so this is the zombie dying animation, and this is the zombie idle animation. Oh no, this is the zombie idle animation. So I'm gonna just simply drag and drop the zombie idle animation, and then the flying death animation. This is idle, and I'm gonna make a transition from there to there and there to there. Go to the parameters, add a parameter called trigger. Just you can just simply add a bool, but bool death, and this time we're gonna just simply kill him, but in the future videos we're gonna add a damage system and all that. So when death is true, as exit time false, we're not gonna come back, of course, because he's just dead and he's gonna come back to idle. No, so just when death is true, as exit time is false, he's gonna just simply go dead, and bam, he's gonna just die just like that. Now we're gonna go back to the player and go back to the firing, and in here, instead of just deactivating the player, we're gonna go ahead and say set animator bool. Okay, and bring it on the top. Specify the game object to be the hit object that we just stored, and we're gonna set the parameter that will be the death. So make sure the spellings are the same, not death. Death. There we go. So the spelling is the same. Yeah, I guess so. Okay, just to make sure, copy that and paste that over here, and set the value to true, which means he is just dead. And I'm going to do that, and he's going to come back to the here and there, and then da. And if I have set everything properly, he should die. So this will be it for today. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you in the next video, in which this piece of shit will follow us and try to kill us. I hope so. So if you want to see that, make sure you subscribe to this channel so that you don't miss any future videos. So with that said, peace out.